So I come from IDEO. We're an innovation consultancy. I'm actually going to need my cheater notes here in a second. We're 600 people. We've been in business for 35 years. You can go to our website. You see that we have the A list, really, of clients. We've been very, very fortunate in that time. But people come to us with business problems. They want a new product or a new service or a new market to go into, and we help them figure that out. A number of other things we've done. Up in the corner, we were talking about the bikes. This is called the Faraday bike. You can Google that and see what that was. But everything from office furniture to car dashes to projects we've been doing for water in the third world. So it's the spectrum was really great. Melinda Gates was in the other day. She's the wife of Bill Gates. She manages the Gates Foundation. Here's where our offices are located, all over. This is what our people look like. They all got funny glasses on. So we have, with this, if you could read the text, it has a whole range of different backgrounds of people, from architects to human factors to engineers and so on. So we've been going for a bunch of years, and a lot of things have changed, a lot of things have stayed the same. Always when we're attacking a problem, we start from the people side. There's other ways of attacking the problems that are just as valid, but this is the one that we're experts at, is this human-centered design. And the other thing is what we call build to think, is very quickly in the process, after you've been thinking things over just a little bit, is make something. Get it out of your head, get it out there in front of other people so they have a chance to react to it. And then iterate, then brainstorm some more and prototype. So it's real common for us to have a brainstorm session in the morning, build prototypes in the afternoon, have them in front of people the next day. So design thinking is the name of this category of activity. And let me explain a little bit what that is. So I had mentioned that we attack the problem from the people side. Other viable ways is coming at it from the business or the business model side, or from your technology. But in the end, all three of those circles have to overlap, and if they're effective, then you have a good solution that's something people want, that you can make, that fits into your financial ecology of your business. Design thinking is the entering from the people side. What we try to do is let's see, what do I have? Okay. Yeah, so we take a look at, we go in and look and see what do people do, but also what do they say? How do they describe it? Because often they do what they say they're doing, and what they're doing is actually different. Then we look also to see what do they think, and ultimately how they feel. The successful products, people have an emotional bond to them. And I'm sure you have favorites. We also watch, one of the things that we notice that time goes by, but people's needs are the same. So stuff changes in the environment. These are just pictures of things that people do responding to the environment. You can see the coffee cups in the subway is, there's a flat surface. It just there was no trash bins because they were afraid of explosive devices going in them. So people just park their cups where they see. The lady with her hair, just kind of unconsciously sticking the pencil in there. Just in the coffee cup with, you can't see it, but the string is kind of looped around the handle to keep it from falling in. He loves Altoids. People have, they've done just a wonderful job. It feels like it's made in somebody's kitchen. You open it up, the tablet's kind of crumbly. There's dust in the bottom. There's the ceremony of sharing it. You kind of hold it out and people open the paper and so. And she says, however, what if Procter & Gamble bought Altoids and the engineers came in and said, we can do this better? First off, it's got too darn many colors on it. You know what it costs each color you put? So, and then you open it up inside. There's this paper. What good is that doing? It's just sitting there. So we get rid of all the colors. We'll get rid of the paper, and so they're all nice and uniform. And so she says, by this time, we've engineered the life out of this product, and we call it Proctoids. And so, to make it a defensible legal claim, they're virtually strong, not uncommonly. You put it into several different languages. You can see that they tell exactly how many mints are in the thing. It's a little. Yeah. And then when they want to improve it, then they're just going to make ultra proctoids. A serious example of somebody who's done a great job of engaging people emotionally is Starbucks. You know, it's not just like the $4 cup of coffee, but it's a place you can go, you know, for some privacy, or you know, just want to sit, or you can. A lot of people take meetings there. So Schultz came in, yeah, and so the words that he used were the authenticity. He wanted to get the authenticity of the coffee experience back and the theater of it. And if you kind of go back to the Altoids, there's the theater of the Altoids. When you open the tin, you do the little paper, and you know, like somebody takes the Altoids. You know, it's a powerful thing. So he wanted to get that back into the product. And then another thing that they did was he opened up a thing called 15th Avenue Tea and Coffee. So it's a very boutique-y place. And they use that for prototyping, of trying out ideas, of getting people engaged in it. And so people are engaged. And so the materials that they've used are scavenged from different, you know, loading docks and barns and stuff from the area. So it has this very homey kind of a feel to it. But people going into it really get engaged with like the fair business practices, you know, the sustainable practices, the fair trade type of thing is key to people. So it's not just the coffee. He's really trying to build up that emotional experience. Going to shift to something else slightly, about how to think about things, about like when is an idea, and you guys are coming up with different business ideas. When is an idea like ridiculous or spectacular idea? So I've pulled some examples here from one of our guys at IDEO. Just wrote a book called the Klutz Book of Innovations, and so we'll see some of the examples. But he has some interesting, in his shop there, he runs the Toy Lab, which is really an experimental place for us at IDEO. And so he asks, okay, the opposite of play is, work. That's what we all say. We think it's boredom. Is that when you talk about play at a company, it's like, okay, let's go do the foosball, let's go shoot some baskets or something like that. We believe that the whole notion of play can be built into the way you're working, and you're going to get better results out of it if you do that. So we're always trying to find ways to stretch people's thinking. So can you take and make play like a part of your process and of how you go about doing things? This is a picture from inside one of our offices. And here's his book. It's terrific. So what I wanted to go through here was a few examples of like how might we invent the common parking ticket. So what I want to do is show you, here's the problem, and so I'll show you an idea, and you tell me whether you think it's like, is it ridiculous or onto something. I'll give you a tip, most of them are kind of on the ridiculous side. So reinvent the common parking ticket. You get up, if you talk to meter maids, people from out of town will just take them and throw them away. Some people pay them. It's always a nuisance. You're always losing them. Nobody engages in them. It's just thing just pisses you off. So what about if we put the fun back into traffic citations? So this is the scratcher. So you got So depending on what you get is. You double my fine, zero fine, or we owe you the fine. So you can just sit, so here's got the little scratcher thing. So you get your kids engaged in the process of yard work. That seems like a need that everybody has. Well, our answer. Our lawyers hated this one, but you can't always have the kids doing that, out on the water. So how can you do it on the dry land to help them have an experience? So here's the idea: is like you hook up in your wagon, you put a sail on it, and then you get one of those battery-powered leaf blowers. I have to use like one of those long-handled wooden spatulas to kind of get it out. So I think it's brilliant. Find a partner and then have something to write a little short list on. So A's, make a list of about 4 or 5 things that you would find in your junk drawer. at home. So the A's, make a list of 5 things that you might find in your junk drawer at home. Junk drawer. And mine is the drawer where somebody took the toothpicks and dumped them upside down. The B's have a different assignment. Make a list of 4 or 5 things that you might find in a drugstore, in a typical CVS or drugstore. Okay, so now what you do is pick one. Here's the tough part. So pick an item off of one item off of each list. So one item from the junk drawer, one from the drugstore. Put them together and come up with a product. And the more ridiculous, the better. This is brilliant. Go for ridiculous.
In brainstorm sessions, is you really want to go for the ridiculous, because in the process of doing that, I mean, there were a number of things that were reasonable ideas here, and that so you go for the wild one, and then something, and that often encourages like the practical ideas. So we really encourage when people are brainstorming not being practical all the time, really going for it, because it will trigger these other ones, these other ideas from the trail out of this. So that was really, you did a great job.